episode 086.
My name's Fred Chubester. I completed finance at university, but I studied many things. I didn't finish them. And I'm currently one of the founders or co-founders of Finder.com. I've achieved some success in my life, in financial means, family means, in friendships. I would say there's some measure of success there. I think the new one, which I focus more on these days, is not so much what everyone else measures, but what do I internally want?
Welcome to Innovator Diaries, a show where influencers and leaders from all walks of life share their story and experiences. You learn the strategies and action points that have helped them find success and get to where they are today. You'll hear their stories and valuable advice to help you on your own path. These messages may also help somebody you know, so please share. Fred, thank you so much for your time today. I really appreciate it. I think we're all going to learn a lot from you today because of your experience of growing a massive business that is now in different countries and through the road you had to go through to get it this big. So thank you so much. So to start, could you please tell me a little bit about your childhood and who was the most influential person in that stage of your life?
Wow. My childhood was, I grew up in the leafy suburbs of Sydney, and I had some friends, and I used to go skateboarding and bike riding, and I used to climb trees. I didn't really get involved with computers at all. I just, tried things and just enjoyed exercising and, I didn't really see it as exercising, but, exploring the world. I wasn't studying anything very hard. I was, a good student. I wasn't like a hardcore student. I wasn't a great student. I'm not an academic, but I played a lot of sport and I just explored. I was curious, constantly curious. And I tried things and, we got up to mischief every now and then as well. And, I think along the way, my grandparents were very influential. They were enterprising, very diligent, intelligent people. They didn't have a lot, but they had, what they had that was, good, but they taught me frugality. And that I think is a concept which I still, imbue today. And I think that's what, Finder as well has a lot of that as well, because helping people save money. But, I think that really affected me. And my grandfather was an entrepreneur. He built factories. And my mom and my dad were doctors, but they're kind of entrepreneurs, but they're kind of freelancers in a way because they run their own business. But my mum then went on to actually build a business after 25 years of being just a surgeon with a secretary. And that was inspirational. But that was sort of after I sort of being an entrepreneur. But, I think I was a very curious child. I used to break things, pull them apart and put them back together. My dad would always complain that I'd broken the computer, but I was just trying to understand it, and I was fascinated by it. My dad always had a computer in the house. That's kind of interesting. And he always used to buy gadgets, but then I'd take those and look at them and then understand them and study them. And I was always fascinated by them. And I think, there was a defining moment I remember, and my parents always talk about this. And I was about 6 years old and I was given an electric clock as a Christmas present. Now back then an electric clock was a big deal. It was plugged into the wall and it had those little red numbers, an alarm clock. And I was working on a little, I'd pulled apart something and I was trying to put together like a phone, not a phone, like a recorder. And I unpacked it and I pulled it apart and I needed a little piece of cable. So I turned around and I saw the electric clock and I was like, well, there's a cable on there and it doesn't really need it. I could put it back together. It was still plugged in and I cut the cable with pliers while it was plugged in. And the thing sparked up and, and it sizzled and stuff and it was a big deal.
Want to listen to the entire interview? Simply go to innovatordiaries.com/episode number. Or you can find this episode and hundreds of other great stories on Google Podcast, iTunes, Spotify, or whatever your favorite podcast player is. Please check me out on LinkedIn. Follow or connect with me as I'm very proactive on that social network. And finally, subscribe to this YouTube channel. You'll get all the new stories as soon as they're released. See you next time.